Dino, I don't want us to die. I don't want us to die, but there's nothing we can do. They're all around us, everywhere, everywhere. They're all
Stop
around.
it! What? Welcome to News to You, where I bring you the news that doesn't bring you the blues. Starting off, in an attempt to tackle rising sea levels and increasingly severe storms brought on by climate change, the United Nations unveiled a plan to create a floating city that would house around 10,000 residents. Architect Bjarke Ingels designed the futuristic project, and Oceanix, a company that builds floating structures, is currently the builder. Maimouna Mohd Sharif, executive director of the UN's Human Settlement Program, said that the international organization would support and shepherd the development through fruition. And Mark Collins, the CEO of Oceanix, said everybody on the team actually wants to get this built. There is, however, a small obstacle in their way: money. Although the UN wants to see it through, it hasn't formally endorsed the venture, and no other investors, private or public, have come through to offer their funds, meaning at this point, the project is dead in the water. Regardless, it's an ambitious plan which calls for the collection of hexagonal floating modules, each about the size of 3.5 football fields, that would be stationed about a mile offshore and anchored to the bottom of the ocean, using a material known as biorock, an ecologically friendly material which facilitates the growth of coral reefs. The city would need to be self-sustaining, from methods for filtering water for daily consumption, to growing food, to waste disposal. Because Fortnite is trash. While its inhabitants would have to throw away the throwaway economy and embrace one built on reusability and sharing. People sharing resources and cutting down on waste? We currently don't do that on terra firma. So we'd probably have to grow webbed feet and gills before we do that on water. Addressing the normal patterns of human habitation, Engels said it won't be Waterworld, which is a good thing, I guess. That movie sucked. Back on dry land, a Florida man, Michael Casey Lewis, was arrested for burglarizing several cars. Sounds like an average criminal, but then this is Florida man, so he's got to be that much extra. The cars were in the parking lot of the jail that Lewis had just been released from after posting bail for Grand Theft Auto. GTA, motherfucker! Through surveillance footage, deputies observed Lewis pulling on car door handles, then suspiciously walking around the rest of the lot, looking into cars upon leaving a silver vehicle. When confronted by an officer who noticed Lewis had cigarettes and cash, which is something unusual for someone so recently released, he said he was waiting for his girlfriend. After another officer approached him, Lewis handed over a brown paper bag that contained a Florida's driver's license, not his, a debit card, and $547 in cash. The totally not shady bag of cash was to be spent on studio time so he could record his verse on the Swiping Through the Snow remix for the Dumbest Criminals Greatest Hits album. He was rebooked, slapped with additional charges, and then re-released on a bond of $11,250. $11,000. That money couldn't have been more of a waste if it was thrown into a black hole. Or it could have been put to better use, like purchasing a movie ticket. Avengers Endgame, the most overhyped movie in the history of the galaxy, crashed websites when tickets went on sale, leaving many people hankering to see it on opening weekend with two viable options. One, they could take their chances and go purchase a movie ticket from the theater like some normie who physically interacts with human beings. Ugh. Or two, they can stay online and hope to find a well-meaning, selfless scalper who will sell them a ticket for anywhere from $100 to $10,000. $10,000 for one ticket, for one screening, for one day. $10,000. Now, those Disney Marvel movies, they're all right, but $10,000 all right? Well, someone thought they were much more than all right and purchased two tickets on eBay for $15,000 so they could watch the film at a dine-in theater in New Jersey. So one ticket at $10,000, but two tickets at $15,000, that's a deal, right? That's quite a bargain, I guess, right? It goes to show that when you're a rabid fan, spending $15,000 on movie tickets or $100 on a 28-second concert performance is completely justified because there's no such thing as another weekend or an encore performance or Netflix. None of those things exist at all. They'll never learn, but ahead of the final season, which premieres tonight, you can learn about some of the most important characters and such from Game of Thrones. Complex Media has put together a glossary of terms from the multiple Emmy award-winning show to help jog the memory of the dedicated fan base. Also, the definitions are plainly written so as to make it easily understandable for casual viewers like me who just watch the show to pass the time and have definitely not become emotionally invested in any of the characters or plot. And I want to use this regular cup to make a toast to Julian Assange for making it as the final contestant on Gran Hermano Embajada. His prize? Handcuffs. After 7 years of hiding out in the Ecuadorian embassy, WikiLeaks co-founder Julian Assange was arrested by officers from London's Metropolitan Police Service when they were invited into the embassy following Ecuador's withdrawal of asylum. Assange, known for exposing government secrets without regard for the consequences, sought refuge with the Ecuadorian government because he feared being extradited to Sweden to face a sexual assault charge, or to the United States, where federal prosecutors are investigating WikiLeaks' role in the 2016 US presidential election. Unfortunately for him, old habits die hard, and he wore out his welcome when Ecuador accused him of leaking information about President Lenin Moreno's personal life. If that wasn't bad enough, he was always hiding the TV remote and never did the dishes when it was his turn. Ugh, roommates. Reportedly, his arrest was based on the pretext that he broke the rules of his original bail in London. While Assange was being carried out by officers, an embassy aide was heard saying, "Los snitches son desalojados," which roughly translates to, "Snitches get evicted." Zzz. Finally, at Star Wars Celebration in Chicago, Kathleen Kennedy and J.J. Abrams released the first trailer for the latest Star Wars movie, Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Rather than be a bit more creative, they opted to use one of the most overused words to help cap one of the most original franchises in the past 40 years in Hollywood. Rise of the Machines, The Dark Knight Rises, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, The Rise of Taj, The Rise of Cobra, and so forth. Whether or not The Rise of Skywalker is a not so subtle clue that the events surrounding Rey in The Last Jedi will be retconned to line up with The Force Awakens is anyone's guess, because the movie doesn't come out until December 20th. But whatever the title means, it won't be better than the holiday special. That's all there is for now, folks. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you got a couple chuckles out of this. If not, so a little closer look at this totally regular cup that I have from a totally regular place, because I'm just a totally regular person watching a show, not invested in it at all. You can see that we have here with the, I don't know what that is, a sheep's head or something. It says winter is coming. Winter's already here and gone. It's springtime. Summer is coming, so I don't know what that's about. Then we've got this guy here, it said the Dodge Ram or something, I don't know. Ours is the Fury, but it should probably say Furry. That's a bit more relatable to the internet world today. Got this, I don't know what that is. It says we do not sew, probably because they don't have any needle and thread, which is a very sad story on its own. That's probably what's going on there. Fire and blood, which is a bad mix anywhere you go. Then an octopus, I don't know what that means. And then we've got this other thing here, which I guess is a lion or a panther or a griffin. Hear us roar, hear me roar. I think that's Katy Perry's house sigil. Although I've never seen her on the show, that's probably what that alludes to, you know. So like I said, I'm just a regular fan. I don't know anything about the show, and I'm definitely not gonna break down into tears or anything when it's over.